No rienderyan. Welcome everybody to Radio Cut Wine. Why was I singing in French? Because today we're gonna touch one of the most sublime, pristine, elegant, long-living grape varieties in the planet. Monsieur et Madame, I should have said Madame et Monsieur. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Pinot Noir. Radio Cult Wine Show. Welcome everybody, people. I'm so happy today because we're gonna touch, as I said, the grape variety that makes the world go round. Why do I say that? Because, Pinot Noir is difficult to grow. It's the biggest, maybe the biggest, I said the biggest challenge that any winemaker in the planet wants to live. I'm serious about that. Do you know what I'm saying? Everybody would like to make a Pinot Noir in his life or her life. But how come there isn't many people making it? Because it's difficult. What do you need? You need high latitude and high altitude. Possibly vineyards should be looking northwest. So in other words, Pinot Noir loves the cold. And yet, how do you make the grapes with the cold? It's impossible. And so very few vintages come out well. Now, the place of origin, Pinot Noir, is one of the oldest varieties actually there is in the world. Whether today in many different wine regions, we don't really know the origins of the grape varieties. I give an example. Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot. Yeah, it's old, but it doesn't go as, over the 1700s, even the 1800s. With Pinot, we know that goes all the way Plinio, I was going to say Pino il Vecchio. Plinio the Eldest, Columella, used to talk about these grape varieties. So we're talking about 2,000 years ago. And Pinot has got 1,000 clonal selection, genetical modifications. There is so much out there. For sure, one of the most important ones of them all is Le Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio. Or there is Pinot Blanc. Or maybe even Chardonnay comes from Pinot. So lots of modification throughout the millennia, and yet Pinot Noir has to be considered one of the most important grape varieties in the planet because it's elegant, is juicy. It's all about the acidity with Pinot Noir. Very few tannins in comparison to other varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon. Very transparent and I just saw the plaster on my finger, man. We're gonna cut that, right, Gilba? I'm kidding. Yeah, actually I have a plaster. I just cut myself opening a bottle of wine, believe it or not. So light, transparent, reactive, acidity, red berry crash, lots of rhubarb, spices, tea tree oil. It's so sexy. And there is one last thing that usually comes with Pinot. Are you ready to hear this? Are you ready to hear this? What is that? Is la mère de poule. Did you just say that? Did you just say like rooster's poo? Chicken poo or whatever. In a way, a most elegant way to say that is farmyardy. This one is very farmyardy. And it doesn't mean anything, it doesn't say anything, but it actually says it all. So this is an introduction, maybe a longer one that I've ever had about this variety. And as a matter of fact, I'm talking to Gilberto right now. I think we can keep this without the wines because I have so much more to add about the Le Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir, the home of Pinot is Bourgogne, Burgundy, La Côte d'Or. And down the Côte d'Or, you have two different areas. You have I don't know how far I should go with these guys. I don't want to lose you. I do not want to lose you. But whether in Bordeaux, the most important thing is chateau. What does it mean? You have the chateau, you have a name on it, and then you can grab grapes coming from different parts of the area and put a name, and that's going to stay there. In Burgundy, a very fundamental concept is domain, not chateau. What is the difference? Domain is a concept that says, I own a domain, so you have your name on it, But then you're gonna grab grapes that belong to a specific vineyard site. I give you an example. You are on this hill, and you have a vineyard here, a vineyard there, a vineyard there. You're just gonna grab the fruit from that specific hill, and then that's gonna be a cru, or a village, and you're gonna give the name to it. So an owner in Burgundy would have a domain and not a chateau. So it's all about the single vineyard. Now, Burgundy is the most famous area for Pinot Noir, and La Côte d'Or is even the more famous. La Côte de Nuit, which is the northern part of the Côte d'Or. So from Dijon, you're gonna be driving roughly 50 kilometers for the whole Côte d'Or, and that's where you find like the most amazing vineyards in the planet. Like 1 hectare, guys, of Grand Cru. Can you see that? I'll try it again. Le Grand Cru is $9 million. Did you say it right? Yes, 1 hectare, 2.43 acres is $9 million. That's bonkers, right? So prices in Pinot Noir world in Burgundy has gone skyrocketing. So I'm gonna make a really complex world very simple. Bourgogne, wines of Burgundy. You have a pyramidal system, at the bottom of which you have the regional Burgundy. 50% of the appellation, even more, maybe 55, is all about these Bourgogne regional wines. Whites and reds, this appellation blends grapes coming from different part of the area, and it's not about a single vineyard. Usually higher value for money, lighter in style. Level 2 on the appellation, 30% of the production, is the village wines. Wines that come from a very specific village. Okay, so usually they are a little bit more expensive. You go up to next step, Premier Cru Classé. So this time we are around 11-12% of the appellation, and this time is all about the name of the single cru. And then last but not least is Grand Cru. Only 2%, guys. 2% of the whole production is about this beautiful single vineyard. The name of the wine is all about a single vineyard that goes for a crazy amount of money. Are the wines any good? They are bloody awesome. One last thing. Everyone wants to make Pinot Noir, so now you go to Sonoma, Russian River. You can go to Carneros. You can go to Marlborough in New Zealand, or Oregon, or Northern Italy. For instance, like Alto Adige makes some of the world's greatest Pinot Noir. Oltrepò Pavese, sparkling. And I was almost forgetting one place. There is Champagne. The most amount of vineyards of Pinot Noir in the world are cultivated in Champagne, particularly in the Reims region, where the Blanc de Noir is become very, very, very famous. Tuscany, well, follow the Tuscan chapters, because Tuscany is making now some incredible, interesting Pinots. And what about the rest of France? Well, you have Alsace with super light Pinots, then you have Loire, the Nouvelle Vague Pinot Noir, and some stuff in the Midi, a little bit hotter and more alcoholic. So this is all for this unusual Pinot Noir Radio Cult One. I said Radio Cult One, Radio Cult Wine. I see you. I'll catch you soon.